Yo, what's up? This is Yuda, BeatLab Academy, another episode of Should I Buy It? This time we're talking about Phaseplant from Kilohearts, and this new generation of synths is just ridiculous. So let's check it out. Let's see what all this fuss is about. So right here I have it open up in Ableton. First of all, this is modular synth. It does come with a few packages. So you can buy just the synth with some basic effects, and then there's like an intermediate, and then there's all the effects. So there are different price ranges. I have the full package with all the effects, which definitely make the sound design capabilities just insane. So right here we have the generators, the sound generators, and we can add analog, noise, sampler, and wavetable. All of them are very capable. So let's start with analog. Of course, we have all the basic stuff here. Here we unison even. Right, of course, what we should expect, the basic wave shapes, all of those, pulse width. You can shift the frequencies like a frequency shifter, FM, kind of like doubling the harmonics, of course, the tuning and all of those, and even phase and randomizing the phase for each voice. Right underneath it, we have an envelope that is being added automatically, and then everything is being sent to lane 1. Now, the ridiculous thing here is that you can add, I didn't see a limit. Honestly, I sat one night, I just went through like, hey, how much can I add? I don't know what's the limit. It's insane. It's just endless. So you can add crazy amounts. And then you can group them, and each one of them can have an envelope. You can even put a filter in between. Let me delete a few of them here. You can even add a filter here. Add that, right in between them. Add a distortion, add that in between, another filter. Just insane. Of course, the wavetable is very cool as well. Here you have the frames. You can go between the wavetable. Do we need the output here? Let's output it to lane 2. Let's turn down lane 1. Here we got a lot of different wavetables. You can even add your own, which is very cool. And there's even a wavetable editor. You can do a lot of cool stuff here by editing your own waveforms, drawing them in. Here's even a pencil. You can just draw whatever wavetable, whatever waveform I want, and create my own wavetables, built-in effects. Just endless stuff. Now, each generator, sound generator, doesn't even have to be generating sound. It can just be for modulation. So I can even delete this envelope. And now this one, I can click on this plus, and then I can have it doing audio rate modulations, like FM and stuff like that, to anything that with the plus button. So it's of course also the sampler. Check out the sampler here. Here's the sampler, a lot of different samples here, and you can even load your own samples. So anything from loops, let's add an auxiliary here for it, or output. Lane, let's go lane 2. Right, and, oh, everything is going to, so let me close that. Right, so even loops, you can do a bunch of crazy stuff to the loops. So the sound generator section is endless. Although we only have 4 different types of generators, the combination of the effects and the utilities, you can group them together, output them to different lanes, and so on, is just insane. Really, it's ridiculous. Down here we have the modulators. Again, I sat one night at home, just start adding envelopes, start adding LFOs, and it's endless. It's endless. I don't even know what to say. It's quite ridiculous. Of course, we seem like we're reaching the end, but then we can just scroll right and just add more. So if anyone did find the limit, let me know. I think it's just the limit of your computer. One thing I would say about this synth that is very CPU friendly, doesn't go too crazy about CPU, except a few things we can talk about. On the top here we have the macros, of course. Like any synth, we can map them to anything we want just with the plus button. And here is, like, for example, I want this, let's go with an LFO. I want this LFO, and I want to map it to whatever, the start of the loop. So I can just drag it up there. And now we can see it visualized with the modulation. which is awesome. We have some basic shapes for the LFO, but you can customize them. So you can make your own shape of an LFO, just a multi-stage envelope generator. So amazing stuff, right? Unipolar, bipolar, everything you want to. Everything here can be folded because I'm sure the developers made, I'll show you in the browser, made some crazy presets themselves. So they figured everything needs to be minimized, which is great. So that's the modulation section. Here we have 3 lanes, and each one of the generators can be sent to a different lane or to the master. Now we also see here on the bottom that lane 1 goes to lane 2, lane 2 goes to lane 3, and here it goes to, lane 3 goes to the master. And now, if you bought the whole package, the Phaseplant package, I forget what they call it, but they do have also subscription-based, which I don't like personally, plugins that are subscription and it's not rent to own, it's just pay us forever as long as you use it. I don't like that, but they do offer you to buy it in one price. Here we can add all these effects that are also available as individual plugins, so you can use them in your DAW regardless of Phaseplant, which is crazy. And also the effects here are great, some of them with a more visualized interface, like the ensemble here, some of them with less, like the basic. Some of them even have their own UI, like this one, right? And which one was it? Faturator. So really endless stuff. Now this is globally, but you can choose poly, so it's per voice is going to have its own processing. That's the one thing I noticed that really takes a lot of CPU. If you go poly, meaning effects are per voice, which is quite crazy. Nice. One thing I don't like here is that they don't ask you, like let's say now I made a patch, they don't ask me if I wanna, once I hit clear to initialize the patch, why don't ask me? What if I accidentally clicked on that? Huh? Why don't ask me if I want to clear it? So there should be a box like, hey, do you really want to initialize it? Because I made a patch, whatever, by mistake. Anyway, global glide would be nice to have per voice glide, but we're asking too much already. Global unison, so even though we have all this unison, even in the wavetable, all this unison up to 8 voices in the actual generators, and again, you can have endless, right? Each with its own envelope or one global envelope, however you want to set it up. Quite ridiculous, but we also have a global unison, which is interesting. Here's the master pitch. We don't have built-in scales, like we can't load scale files, which will be nice, but again, it's just icing on the cake. What I do like about the interface, that it's scalable both vertically and horizontally, which you don't see that a lot. So that's really nice. I love that. And let's go over the browser here. The browser can be a bit laggy when you scroll. Right now it's working fine. I found it sometimes it's a bit laggy. Also the modulation visualization, it's a bit laggy at times. But what I love about these presets, the preset browser, that give you actually very nice explanation, description of what that patch is. And we can even see some really amazing sound designers. Francis is amazing. Houston is incredible, made some presets for Omnisphere. All of those are made, like a lot of the sounds in Ableton they made. So really great sound designers work on this patch. So let's go and check out some presets first. Let's just check out some hard basses. Let me go down an octave here. Some nasty stuff. Some drums because of all the sampling. And even tutorials, which are great. So one thing we don't have here, which we can find on a lot of synthesizers, is a built-in arpeggiator. But we have these tutorials that shows us how to do it with LFOs. Let's go up an octave. So you can achieve the arpeggiation sound, but you need to do it with custom shape LFOs and some routing. But that's fine. But the tutorials here are great, really show the capabilities of this synth. Now it really becomes ridiculous and honestly quite frustrating by the, why do we even need DAWs anymore with this type of synths? If I go to sequences, this is a whole, like let's go with Complextro. I'm holding one note. What is this? Right? It's not, okay, fine. It's kind of old school, but still. Like, let's go close the browser. Let's see what's going on here. So as you can see, we have one group for the synth, 3 oscillators here with an envelope, one group for the saw bass, one group for the wobble, and another group for the kick and the snare. It's just endless. And look how many effects they combined here. All of them go to the master, so they're parallel. They're not even serial. They don't even go to each other. So that's insane. Let's see what else they got. Right, so all of them, of course, come with really great macros you can play around with. Change the sound even more. Just insane. Reverser, they have this effect here, reverser. Bring it up. Here we can see the mix going up. Who's level 8? Who is that? That's crazy sound design with this synth. Not much to say. It's like just insane. They're so ridiculous. There's even a phase invaders game here that you can play, I think, with the arrow keys. Got nothing to do with music, but if you just get bored, you can play that. So Phaseplant, endless modulation capabilities, endless audio processing. Even the audio processing, I tried to just load endless effects. I couldn't find the limit. I couldn't find where the limit is. So that's ridiculous. Very low CPU, although if you turn on the poly, it is kind of going to the extreme. UI is resizable both vertically and horizontally, which I love. The effects can be per voice, as we mentioned, and factory presets are really great. Like they did a really good job here on the factory presets, and also the explanation of description of what each one is. Now, some cons. Effects are a separate purchase. I don't like that. Clear, like we mentioned, should ask. It shouldn't just clear. No custom scales, which would be nice. Preset browsing and modulation visualization can be a bit laggy. Glide is global, can be nice per voice, and no built-in arpeggiator. But these are just icing on the cake. This synth is incredible. So if you're thinking, hey, I need just one synth to beat them all, it might be it, just because it's unlimited. They're like, probably they talked about, what should we design? What's the problem? Limitations? Let's throw that out of the window, because it's unlimited. So Phaseplant by Kilohearts, really amazing stuff. When I first started using it, I didn't like the interface so much, but you get used to it very quickly because everything is very laid out very nicely. And just the sheer amount of things you can have in one patch kind of makes sense how they design it in that way, that everything is quite minimal. Because as you can see, the modulations displayed, it's quite confusing and minimal, but you have to, because of the sheer possibilities you have in this crazy synth. So Phaseplant from Kilohearts, I'm still astonished by the amount of stuff you can do here. It's absolutely insane, sounds great, and you guys should definitely check it out. Catch you next time.